They are a select few who have made their mark on the game that they play. A special group of players who have risen to the top of their sport on a world stage, possessing all the qualities that you would want in a basketball player. They are invaluable teachers, fearless leaders, fierce competitors, dominating defenders, peerless passers, and unstoppable scorers. They are Hardwood Heroes.
Pippen's got it! Oh, listen to the crowd! Oh, what a shot by Reggie Miller! Oh, baby!
Rebound, Stockton! Ahead, the Cleveland! He's got it! He scores!
Oh, boy! Oh, have mercy! John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals!
Scotty is a catalyst, you know. I mean, he's the one guy that could go 2 for 10 and yet have a tremendous impact on the game.
He's that rare guy who can literally do everything. He's our point guard, unbelievable defender, he's a great rebounder. He's got every skill imaginable.
He's a complete player, the best versatile all-around player in the game today.
An unheralded college player from tiny central Arkansas, Scottie Pippen worked long and hard to earn such accolades.
The Seattle Supersonics select Scott Pippen of Central Arkansas.
That's right, folks. You probably have never heard of Scottie Pippen.
Though he was traded immediately to the Bulls on draft day, Pippen arrived in Chicago with lofty dreams.
Going in, I'm looking to go in and play probably the 3 position, but someday I want to be able to work my way into the point guard position.
But at first, his big plans brought big troubles.
When Scotty first came here, he really didn't know where he was at that time.
But with inspiration from his superstar teammate, he improved by leaps and bounds.
Scottie Pippen out with it. Pippen on the drive, left of the lane to the rack. Whoa!
Michael challenging Pippen, it changed the whole character of our team. It made Pippen elevate his game.
I was established. He was kind of in the back scenes of things. And when his skills started to evolve and mature and people started to expect bigger things from him.
Scotty was developing at that time by making him the director of our offense, kind of a point forward.
With the ball in Scotty's hands, the Bulls finally had all their pieces in place. Embarking on their historic championship run, they would capture 3 consecutive titles.
Chicago has dominated every game.
The Chicago Bulls have 3 straight NBA championships.
With 3 championship rings, a gold medal, and 3 All-Star selections, Scotty had seemed to leave the shadow of obscurity far behind him. But no matter how much he achieved, he found himself constantly eclipsed by his more famous teammate.
The years that I've played alongside Michael has definitely been years that I've, to some degree, been overshadowed. People said I'm not an all-star, I'm just riding Michael's coattail.
But just prior to the '94 season, all that suddenly changed when Jordan stunningly would announce his retirement.
This was an opportunity when Michael's departure for me to really step forward and show some leadership.
Oh, he has been unstoppable. An MVP performance.
Pippen, beautiful jump hook.
Pippen would make the most of his opportunity, leading his team to 55 wins and an All-Star MVP. Finally, he was well on his way to garnering the recognition he deserved. But in one fateful moment of Game 3 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, it would all be washed away.
1.8 seconds remain, fourth quarter. Knicks and Bulls tied at 102.
It seemed to be the moment Scotty was waiting for. But the play would be called for first-year Bull Tony Kukoc, and Pippen could simply not contain his frustration.
Scotty's going to sit here. Scottie Pippen is not on the floor for the Bulls right now. Unbelievable.
Though his refusal to go out on the court did not cost the Bulls the game,
Kukoc turned the jumper at the buzzer, and the Bulls win!
Pippen was instantly vilified.
Anytime a player has to step into the level of carrying the team, the weight becomes a duress, and at some point in the season, it weighs very heavy when it's there all the time.
Playing under the pressure and duress of having to try to get to the next level, the experience was probably a step back for me.
At times, you make questionable decisions that maybe when you reflect back on them, they're not the best decision. And I think it really helped him grow as an individual to understand what type of responsibility you must have with this league.
In a sense, the play would prove to be a turning point in Scotty's career. Refusing to be consumed by it, Pippen worked harder than ever. And in the next season, he would lead the Bulls in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, as he would win back the confidence of his fans and teammates. Ironically, Scotty gained the respect he had always deserved.
I'm winding down battle. Scotty by Pippen. Yes, and MJ loves it.
And when I walked away for the game for 2 years, he was exposed to what I had to deal with, and he didn't have a shield anymore. But Scotty flourished individually. He became more of a mature player.
And even Michael's return to the game did not diminish Scotty's newfound status.
Hey, Michael on the run. MJ running, shovels, Pippen jams with the right hand.
With Michael and Scotty playing as equals, the Bulls would become champions once again and take their place in history as one of the greatest teams of all time.
Looking, skipped across, Pippen the steal! Scotty saves it to Tony! He runs the second again! The Bulls win!
And now, no one doubted Scotty's contributions.
I want to take my hat off to the two leaders on this team, Scotty and Michael.
Michael, when he came back, said point blank, "This is Scotty's team."
It's hard to take this MVP by myself. He's got to take half of it. I take the trophy, he may get the call.
Glenn Rice of the Charlotte Hornets has long been regarded as one of the league's premier shooters, a skill he's been honing since childhood.
When I was younger, we had like a park around the corner. Me and my younger brother. We used to go up there and shoot baskets at night. That's where I pretty much came up with the theory that if you can shoot the ball in at night, it shouldn't be any problem when the lights come on.
As a collegian, Rice shined in the national spotlight as he scored 31 points for the Michigan Wolverines in the 1989 NCAA title game.
It's over. Michigan has won a national championship.
He had achieved the heights of success.
But then also I got a taste of reality quick because I was drafted by the Miami Heat.
Joining the NBA's worst team, Rice now had to endure the frustration of losing. But Glenn would take matters into his own hands as he infused the Heat with a new attitude.
Rice for three. Bullseye. You gotta love it, Miami. Stand up and cheer. The Heat coming around.
I was able to, pass on the winning attitude to the other players on the team, and we tried, really hard to get something accomplished.
Miami, how do you like us now? The Heat are in the NBA playoffs.
In just his third year in the league, Miami's hotshot had helped the team reach respectability. And in 1995, the future looked even brighter for the Heat as Pat Riley took over as coach. His first big move to make Miami a championship contender was acquiring franchise center Alonzo Mourning. But the trade would carry a heavy price tag as Glenn Rice was shipped to Charlotte.
I think in a way I was disappointed for the simple fact that I thought I was going to finish my career in Miami, and it was a surprise to me.
But as he had in Miami, Rice would quickly become the heart and soul of his new team.
Rice upstairs. Rice a three. Got it!
I try to get him the ball from the first second that we start the game all the way through it.
Rice comes out on the left side, puts up another three, and he got it! Boy, it's Rice that they're going to right now.
Glenn Rice is on fire!
Oh, he has been unstoppable.
Now he's like, I'm the man, I can score and jump on my back. I'll carry us.
Rice pops out, makes the catch. Oh, delivers a three. Oh, one of the great three-point shooters in NBA history just delivered in the clutch.
The first-year Hornet had elevated his game to the next level, earning Rice his first All-Star selection.
Michael really made me feel very comfortable. Right before the game, we were walking down the hallway, and he started joking with me.
I bet you shoot first air ball.
It was kind of funny because I almost shot air ball. I got just a small piece of the rim on my first shot. He told me afterwards, hey, congratulations on being an All-Star, and hope to see you back again.
Your first was good, man. I hope you enjoyed it.
A year later, Rice's All-Star performance was an entirely different story.
All right, go ahead and get hot now.
Yeah. Okay. Terrell Brandon, he'll bring it down. A 4-point East lead. Rice left side squares. Oh, 2 for 2.
You got him, G-Right.
You can't leave the hot hand wide open like that. Three-pointer again. Yes, he is in the zone. Rice comes back, spins, comes up. 8-footer's good. There it is. He has the record.
Proving again that he belongs in the national spotlight, Glenn Rice helped set a new standard for All-Star excellence.
And thank you, Glenn Rice, 1997 All-Star Game MVP, setting a record for the most points in a quarter and a half.
Few can match the shooting prowess of Glenn Rice, but Reggie Miller, the sharpshooting guard from the Indiana Pacers, is certainly one of them.
Miller, a desperate three.
Whoa! Right in the face of the defender.
Jackson on the bounce with 8. Reggie from the wing. Hit it!
Boom, baby! Boom, 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 boom! That's jazzy. Now that's jazzy.
Reggie loves the game that he plays.
Boys are back in town.
And he's not bashful about expressing his emotions or showcasing his skills.
Well, when you first step on the court, especially if you're playing in a packed arena on the road, 20,000 people are coming to see you perform.
Reggie spots for three. There she goes.
It's like being on stage. You're like Michael Jackson.
Miller, a bomb for three. Got it.
He is feeling it right now.
If you're on the opposing team and you got Reggie Miller staring you down, it's a scary feeling because he's got the nose for making a big shot.
A pitch out to Miller for three. Reggie Miller with a cold-blooded three. And the Indiana Pacers have taken the lead.
If the game is on the line, everyone knows where the ball is going to end up, and there's nothing that no one else on the other team can do about it. And that's the mark of a great clutch player.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3. Here he comes, fade away. Yes, Miller hits a big one. With 8/10 of a second remaining, Reggie Miller takes the bows at the stadium in Chicago.
Sometimes you like kind of sticking it to other teams.
Here's Reggie, here's the turnaround, here's the shot. Good!
As dangerous a sharpshooter as Reggie has been in the regular season, he has been absolutely deadly in the playoffs. He calls it Miller time.
Miller to the ball! Reggie Miller! My goodness!
No team has been more of a Miller target than the Knicks. In 1994, New York thought they were out of his range in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Little did they know, there is no such thing.
When I took my first shot in the fourth quarter, and it was a 3, and it was pretty contested, and it went in. I came back down on the next possession and hit another 3, and that's when I started to feel kind of good.
And that Knick lead has been trimmed to 8.
It seemed like the bucket started to open up a little bit more.
Here's Miller, swings away, and hits. Reggie Miller is on fire.
Miller fires up a long three. That's good.
Oh.
Reggie Miller from way downtown. And the Pacers go up by 3.
Sitting on the bench, you found yourself being a spectator. He just got to the point where he made shots.
Reggie Miller hits another 3.
An emphatic display of long-range bombing by Miller.
I just feel fortunate I was there to watch it.
Just an astounding shooting exhibition being put on by Reggie Miller.
When it was over, Miller had tormented the Madison Square Garden crowd with 25 fourth-quarter points. The combatants would meet again under similar circumstances in New York 1 year later, and this time, Reggie struck more suddenly as he single-handedly erased a seemingly insurmountable deficit.
105-99, 18.7 seconds left. Miller for 3, and he got it. Reggie Miller with a clutch tray, and it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again.
Reggie Miller has tied the game with 13 seconds remaining.
To get a steal and have Reggie have the presence of mind to step back and shoot another 3 blew my mind. And then to have an opportunity to win it in regulation when we were 6 down with 18 seconds to go was something that I totally didn't expect.
Unbelievable! Unbelievable!
One of the most remarkable comebacks in all of basketball.
It was pretty wild in there.
How appropriate is it that Reggie's new coach can appreciate his uncanny knack for making clutch baskets?
Okay? Come on, guys. It's big time here. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 2.
Whether he's mentally tougher than I ever was, I don't know, or the same, I have no idea. It's just that I know he's hit some awful big shots for us.
Miller suddenly alone. Sticks it. Wow. That was a huge shot from Miller.
Knowing that I want the ball in my hands as much as possible, especially in late game situation, that kind of takes the pressure off him, so you can just say, okay, we're going to drop this play and get the ball to Reggie. Like he used to say in the Celtics, okay, draw the play up and get the ball to me and we'll all go home.
Miller has a good look at it. Miller waves it for Indiana. And he waves goodbye to the Suns bench.
While Miller can end a game with his lethal shooting, there is another breed of player that dominates in a different way.
Here's a steal by Gary Payton. Defense leading to offense. Seattle's main weapon.
The best part of basketball for me is getting out there, guarding somebody, and making them fear me.
Gary Payton is such a disruptive force on defense. Ball stripped by Payton. They call him the glove so quick. A different type of point guard with the complete arsenal of weapons.
He can score, he can post up, he can shoot. He can play one-on-one or he can pass.
And Gary Payton is saying, give him the ball. He knows that he's the guy that can get it going. He likes it in games like this when it's on the line.
Gary's all-around brilliance has established him as one of the league's best. But there was a time when his commanding performances were not so commonplace. Drafted second overall in 1990, there were high expectations, especially from himself. But the brash rookie was in for a rude awakening.
Moore flips it over to Payton. He drives and missed the left-hand layup.
When I came in this league, I was arrogant. I thought I can do whatever.
Payton with the steal, the drive, and the hoop, but wave it off. Offensive foul on Payton.
He was terrible in a sense because he talked more than he played basketball. He tried to intimidate you by talking.
First 2 years in the NBA, I just wasn't playing the type of basketball I wanted to play. And I started to hate basketball.
Gary Payton had appeared to be slipping into basketball oblivion. But midway through his second disappointing season, a new coach would arrive, and with him, a new beginning.
He has a gut competitive nature that very few players have.
Coach Carl would let his young point guard loose, providing Payton with a second chance.
Grabbed by Gary Payton. He wheedles his way through traffic, drives into the lane. Nobody got him. Goes to the glass, lays it in.
It's lead by 3. Inbound stolen by Payton. He makes a huge play.
I think when Coach Carl came in, it was the right system for me. He let me play the style of basketball I came from Oregon State with.
Strips him of the ball. Lead pass to Payton. 2-on-1. Lob it ahead. Oh, baby.
When that happened, I got more dedicated into wanting to play basketball and making my game better.
Sent off balance, no foul, outside to Smith. Smith to the ball by Pierce. Sends it ahead to Gary. Too far ahead, he saves it.
He'll lay it in. Oh, you gotta love that action. Good. Golly, Miss Golly.
As I got older and grew up and said, hey, I think about this, I could be a great player, but I'm not gonna get the recognition and all that and be a superstar and play this way just by putting my talent out here.
Gary would refine his game, seemingly adding a new weapon each year.
When he's got the ball in his hands, you better keep your eyes open at all times, because he will find you.
Gary Payton is just showing why he's the complete package.
Gary Payton, another cold-blooded three.
Payton had evolved into a complete player and the main man for Seattle.
This game is about learning every day, and he has matured into a leader.
Start from this side. Start from this side. Get over on this side.
Leading his team to the finals in 1996, the Defensive Player of the Year showed why he had arrived as a superstar.
Payton leading the way, and that little look like, Michael, you're the king, but I'm coming after you tonight.
I don't think anyone in the league is more important to their team than Gary is to our team.
Payton, ever since I've been in Seattle, has produced 55 wins. Probably will produce 3 60-win seasons. And, people don't understand, in the history of the game, there's probably only 4 or 5 teams that have been able to do that type of winning.
Gary Payton has indeed come full circle.
I would want people to look at me when I was a rookie in my first 2 years, an arrogant player, and how you have to grow up. And that's what I've been doing. And that's where you get your recognition, and that's where you become one of the elite.
While Payton may have had a rough start to his NBA career, other Hardwood Heroes have had golden beginnings. They once shared the spotlight together, but now Miami's Tim Hardaway and Sacramento's Mitch Richmond play on opposite sides of the country. Still, they spend time together whenever they can and continue a friendship that dates back to their early years with the Golden State Warriors.
When I first saw him, my first day at Golden State, I was like, man, that's Mitch Richmond. I was like, hey, how you doing, I'm happy to be here, And we just clicked.
Hardaway out of here. And guess who? Mitch Richmond is 10.
I used to watch a lot of tape on him, so I thought he was about 6'5". So when I first walked up to him, and I was like, man, this guy is about 5'11", When we got on the court, we started practicing, and I was like, man, he got the quickest first step I ever seen.
The killer crossover. Oh, brother. Here's Tim Hardaway behind the back. Oh, he spins and scores.
We had lots of fun. It was just that camaraderie between us. Just knowing, on the court, just knowing where he was at, passing the ball.
Mitch Richmond. Oh, what a move.
I could see him filling the lane.
Richmond explodes.
So it was a lot of fun.
It was unstoppable because, maybe Tim bust for 30 and I come out with 28. It was like, it was just great basketball because we was going up and down.
And in 1991, their second season together, they helped orchestrate a memorable playoff run.
Here comes Hardaway on the wing to Richmond, the pull-up. Got it!
He's automatic tonight.
Hardaway off the crossover. Here's the whistle. Oh, the Warriors are heating up now.
Momentum was building as Golden State upset the heavily favored San Antonio Spurs.
It's over! The Warriors are going to the Western Conference semifinals.
However, it would be the last great moment the two would share as Warrior teammates. Richmond was traded in the offseason, leaving a stunned Hardaway behind.
It was tough because we thought that we was going to be the core of the team. And when he left, it was like, wow, you traded Mitch. A great friend, just up and move. You're not going to see him every day. You're not going to play with him every day. You're not going to laugh with him every day.
And an even harsher reality awaited Richmond in Sacramento, where he would join a Kings team that had endured 8 straight losing seasons.
I just had to step back and say, this is not so bad. I'm playing this sport that I love to do, and I just changed jerseys. A lot of people would like to be in the same shoes as I am, so let's give it a chance and let's see where it goes from there.
Richmond made the most of his situation as he became one of the league's top scorers. And in '96, he led the Kings to their first playoff appearance in a decade. Mitch's drive to succeed enables him to take on the best the NBA has to offer. And his inspired play has won the hearts of fans and the admiration of his teammates.
I love playing with Mitch because he's one of those guys, he goes out there every night, you know what you're gonna get. Bottom line, he doesn't take a day off.
Richmond, oh, what a big shot. You're talking about a clutch shot.
You know, he don't get enough recognition, but if people can see him play night in and night out, they'll see why he's an all-star, why, you know, everybody will want him on their team.
While Richmond achieved fame as an Olympic gold medalist, his friend Hardaway encountered difficult times in Golden State. A devastating knee injury would force him to miss an entire season, and when he did return, there seemed to be little killer left in his crossover.
Everybody thought Tim had lost a step or lost his crossover when he had knee surgery, and people felt that he was done.
Once the pride of the franchise, Hardaway was now relegated to the bench.
It was over with. It was over with. And, you know, it just wasn't right there. It was time for me to go. It was time for me to move on.
A fresh start awaited in Miami, where Hardaway hoped to rejuvenate his career.
I'm just looking forward to a new start. Coming out here, just playing, first of all.
Making the most of the opportunity, Tim was revitalized, and opponents were soon faced with a reminder of the past.
Hardaway still outside the arc of the dribble, inside of 10, pull up 3 under pressure. Good. Oh, what a cold-blooded 3. Oh, Tim Hardaway. They can't stop him.
Oh, that's great basketball.
My confidence always was there. I never lost my confidence.
Hardaway on the spin. Hardaway. Oh, my. Tim Hardaway, you are unbelievable, my man.
Timmy thinks he's the best player on the court. You know, he thinks he's the best player on the court. When the guy thinks that way, in my eyes, my heart gotta go out to him.
Hardaway, length to the floor, running jumper. Oh, my! How many times is this guy going to perform at that level? He is unbelievable!
I've been through a lot, so I'm just happy to be in the situation I'm in. And I'm very happy to say, you know, that I'm having fun. See, this is what I used to do to Mitch.
With their journeys to stardom so closely linked, both Hardaway and Richmond will always share a special bond.
When I play up against him, he let me know it. Oh, I'm going to take him. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's supposed to run a play. He's going to break that play, and he's going to try to score me.
Oh, Tim Hardaway on a runner.
You know, he's always trying to score.
It goes the same way. I switch on him. Oh, I got a little one. I got a little one. And if he scores me, I'm going to hear about it.
We both compete on the court, so I don't think we take friendship in the hand at that point in time. But when the game is over, you know, we acknowledge each other. So.
Just go back to being friends,
yeah.
You know?
David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs has always been a player who has shouldered the burden of high expectations. In college, at the Naval Academy, he single-handedly led an unknown Navy team to national prominence. And when he entered the NBA, he faced the daunting challenge of reversing the fortunes of a San Antonio franchise that had won only 21 games the previous season.
It's not a bad kind of pressure. I mean, it's just like they expect you to win, then you got some kind of ability, and that's a good kind of pressure.
But the Admiral would single-handedly change the course of the Spurs.
Ethan Robinson on the alley-oop. In it goes, and this time Robinson beats the double team and counting with the foul. Oh, my!
In one short year, he led the Spurs to the greatest turnaround in league history as San Antonio won 56 games, while Robinson captured Rookie of the Year honors.
David is the most athletic center ever. He's got the speed and the quickness of a guard and the body of a big guy. He's just awesome.
A brilliant play by David Robinson.
He would prove in the years to follow to be more than just a physical specimen, honing his skills while making the Spurs an NBA force.
Each year, you still think, I got to get better. I got to do something to improve my game. And as I worked, I just learned more and got better and better.
To the Admiral.
And he became not only a presence on the court, but off the court as well.
I think it's a great opportunity to just stand up and be counted, be an example, and impact some other people's lives.
Sometimes trouble comes looking for you. And that's when you have to stop, think, and find a way to not let it get you. Peace.
By 1995, Robinson was now one of the league's most popular personalities and top players, and he would lead the Spurs to their best record ever while gaining the league's highest honor.
David Robinson represents for us the commitment to team, to principle, and to community. Congratulations, David Robinson, 1995 NBA MVP.
But instead of a storybook ending, the Spurs found themselves eliminated in the playoffs by the Houston Rockets and Robinson's chief rival, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Robinson is saying, what must I do?
That hurt a lot because I felt like I didn't play up to my potential in that series, and I'm the leader, and I felt like I wanted to really take these guys and pick us up and go to the next level. And as great a year as it was for our team, and as great a year as it was for me as an individual, it still showed me that I got a lot of room to improve and get better.
And for a change, his hard work didn't yield instant results. First, the Spurs were knocked out of the playoffs the following season. And then, to add injury to insult, the Admiral was stricken with a career-threatening back injury. For a full season, he watched the Spurs sink to the depths of the league, winning only 20 games without him.
Dave Robinson, I can't describe what he means to our basketball team. He helps everybody out emotionally, spiritually, and he's missed in a lot of areas more so than just basketball.
Nobody's worked harder and nobody deserves us more than we do. So let's go out there and take it from him.
As he always has, Robinson responded with an unwavering determination. Fighting his way back from the injury, he would once again take the Spurs on his shoulders and lead them to another dramatic turnaround.
Now get it to Robinson. He can win it. Count it. The Spurs win it at the buzzer.
With San Antonio once again considered one of the NBA's elite teams, David has renewed his quest for the ultimate goal.
You strive to be the best, and the one main challenge for me is being able to step through and win the championship. That's where my heart is set.
And as Robinson strives for the NBA's ultimate prize, he knows that his destiny lies in his own hands, and his approach to the game and to life will never change. In Detroit, another classy veteran has been carrying the mantle for his team for 13 years. The Pistons' Joe Dumars.
The team morale leader. He is the heart of this ball club.
In the mid-'80s, the Pistons were looking to forge a new identity, and Joe Dumars would help provide one.
What they needed was some young energy. They needed some defensive presence, and that's what I tried to bring when I first got here.
And he would do just that.
Swipe by Dumars. Trying to drive him. He does, and he hits it. Magic again, posting a great defensive play by Dumars.
With Joe spearheading the Pistons' airtight defense, Detroit would develop a reputation as the league's toughest team.
Swarming defense. They just don't stop coming at you.
In a few short years, they had become one of the best teams in the NBA.
Who are these guys? They're championship contenders.
The quest for a championship was nearing completion, and Dumars would see to it that the Pistons would win their first title as he dominated the Lakers in the 1989 finals.
He can do no wrong. It is Dumars' domain tonight at the Palace.
Came out and he showed us what Joe Dumars is all about.
Dumars was no longer the best player you never heard of. His finals MVP performance had thrust him into the spotlight.
Dumars does nothing but put the cap on a tremendous performance.
There's absolutely no feeling that I can even explain to you. The night we beat the Lakers, it's like an out-of-body experience. It was an absolutely awesome feeling.
Joe recaptured that feeling the next year as he helped the Pistons shake off a talented Portland team.
And he filled it up. Is that a huge hoop or what? Well, they better go back to the blackboard on Dumars.
When Detroit was winning the championship, I thought he was a cornerstone of that team because he did so many things to make them better.
Still champions of the world. The Pistons repeat.
In those championship seasons, Dumars was woven into the Pistons' team-oriented philosophy. But Joe was in for a change. He would now have the sole responsibility of keeping Detroit competitive. As one by one, his teammates left him. Even as his team plummeted in the standings, he would remain loyal to the franchise.
I don't think you define yourself as a true professional only by your winning. I think you define yourself as a true professional by how you handle adversity. But if you're truly going to be someone who calls himself a champion, you have to persevere through those times, and that's what I did.
In 1995, he would enter a new stage of his career as he willingly went from star to teacher, and his eager pupil was Grant Hill.
Pretty much felt that he would be the link that would make the transition from the old to the new, and I thought that he was the type of guy who could carry that banner for the Pistons.
Grant, I should have got out, but the lob may not always be there. It may just be the skip pass there. Okay.
And I was a big Michael Jordan fan. I used to hate Joe because he used to do well against Michael, but after meeting Joe and spending some time with him, I was sold on Joe Dumars. And from then on, he's been in my corner. He's been extremely helpful. He's showed me the ropes.
I talked to Grant a lot about different things that you need to win. I said, I've been that guy who had to go out and get 25, 30. You're that guy now. I have to be the guy for you now and give you leadership, give you that guidance, give you that toughness down the stretch. But you got to carry the load now. And that's what we go out and do. I mean, we understand that. I understand my role. He understands his role. And I think it works perfectly together.
Grant crossing over, top side to Joe. Three-point gunning, got it! Great execution!
Dumars' crucial role has not gone unnoticed. In the twilight of his career, he was an all-star selection and a natural choice for the NBA's first sportsmanship award.
He's an all-star on the court, but he's also an all-star off the court. He's just a great person, and there should be more, in my eyes, there should be more Joe Dumars out there, not only in sports, but just in life in general.
Like Joe Dumars, future Hall of Famer Clyde Drexler has had his share of personal accomplishments and team glory. His storybook career will ensure him his rightful place in NBA history.
My goal was to be a professional basketball player, and to be considered one of the top 50 in the history of the game is a phenomenal honor. I think it's something that, when you put your best foot forward and you have good intentions, I think good things happen.
Good things were expected out of Clyde when he entered the league in 1983, and the NBA's newest high flyer did not disappoint.
Drexler motoring all the way. Oh! Worth the price of admission.
Drexler.
You go back and you look at some of the things he did, those were just incredible physical feats. I mean, I had a lot of talks with Clyde, and I said, there are some times when there are two big guys back there where maybe you can't go in there. And he looked at me and shot. I take what I want.
It's a rebound, Robinson. Portland pass, Drexler, he's open, he scores!
At times, it seemed like Clyde's incredible highlights overshadowed what really drove Drexler in the game of basketball.
It's good!
The thing that was most interesting about Clyde was not his athleticism that was obvious, but it was his desire to win. I don't think that anyone really understood how much he disliked losing.
Drexler's fierce competitiveness helped make the Blazers championship contenders. And in his 7th season, Clyde led the Blazers to the 1990 finals. But they would lose to their more experienced opponents, the Detroit Pistons. There would be more hardship the next year, as Portland would bow out to Magic Johnson's Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
Blazers in 6. The Lakers win 4 games to 2, ending Portland's bid for a dream season here tonight, 91-90.
The Blazers would regroup and return to the finals in 1992. Awaiting Clyde was the ultimate challenge and his closest counterpart.
Michael plays the same position that I play, and for years we'd battle. And for me, competition is what I thrive on.
In this marquee matchup between the league's 2 premier guards, Clyde made a bold statement, but Michael would have the final word.
3 again! good again. Oh, my goodness.
When you think about being the best team in the world and you're that close to it, it's tough, and those are opportunities that you may never get again.
The prospects of returning to the finals ended when the Blazer team built around Drexler was dismantled. Clyde was now faced with the reality that he might finish his career without a championship ring. And it soon became clear that Clyde would bid farewell to Portland.
And going back to Houston, the place where I grew up, where I went to college and all my family's there, that was like going home. When the trade actually went through, it was hard to believe, because in the back of my mind, I knew that something special was going to occur.
And from the moment he stepped on the court as a Rocket, Drexler's mission was clear.
Here's Drexler on the run. Oh! Drexler!
Ellie sees Drexler underneath. Oh, he passes to Tucky Brown.
Yeah, look at the Clyde. There it is. There it is. There it is. Oh! There it is.
Drexler wins it.
There it is.
Drexler wins it.
Heading into the playoffs, Drexler would continue to give the defending champs a much-needed boost.
He was playing terrific ball for us. He had a terrific playoff series. Utah, he had a terrific series.
David Benoit's on him now. Drexler goes right around. Benoit slams it home.
And with each playoff games, each series, he was getting better and better.
Drexler's will to win helped the Rockets avoid elimination an incredible 5 times en route to the NBA Finals.
We had been through so much, and you always need something else to push you. And he stepped up big time right when we needed it.
Clyde had helped the Rockets defy the odds, and now he was going to seize his opportunity.
The guy worked hard, and that right there showed me how bad this guy really wanted to win, because he knew that that was his last time getting to the finals probably, and he had to take advantage of it.
A determined Drexler played with desperate intensity.
It was an emotional time. I knew he felt he was getting close to the ring, and I felt for him.
Clyde Drexler, this is his championship.
Drexler slams it down.
It's over. It's over. The Houston Rockets are the NBA champions for the second year.
This was the third trip to the finals, and the third time was the charm.
This was great. How sweet it is.
It's a feeling of exhilaration. It's been like a storybook ending. Actually, I was so excited I didn't really know how to react.
Hold on, he ain't getting shared. Hey. That's his first. That's his first. Yes, sir. His first. Okay. I had to come get him.
Time and patience have rewarded Drexler and put him on the mantle that he belongs on in terms of being a great ambassador for the sport, a great talent, and a champion.
Often, just reaching the finals is the ultimate goal for many players.
Unbelievable! John Stockton! John Stockton! It's over! The Jazz win it! We're on our way to the World Championship!
But for John Stockton and Karl Malone, it's just one achievement in the long list of many. Stockton is the NBA's all-time leader in assists and steals. Malone, the league's most valuable player. And together they have shared 2 Olympic gold medals and an All-Star MVP. But to fully appreciate their greatness, you have to look back at their humble beginnings.
The Utah Jazz select John Stockton of Gonzaga University. The Utah Jazz select Karl Malone of Louisiana Tech.
Although they seemed an unlikely duo, they actually have quite a lot in common. Arriving from small, unheralded schools, they would both redefine their positions in the NBA.
John Stockton is a pure point guard, the great decision maker, the artist, the finesse. He has the imagination. For him, it's a dance. It's an art.
Stockton all the way! Stockton to the hoop! Unbelievable!
On the other hand, Karl Malone is the rough, tough, hard-hitting super athlete. Great body, great hands, and a great will to win.
Down the middle, the mailman! Slam dunk! Oh, baby, what a power play!
And though they were great by themselves, together they were unstoppable, forging one of sport's more devastating duos.
Stockton in a hurry.
Running the fast break to perfection.
Underneath the Malone. Oh, baby, what a play by Stockton. Stolen by Stockton. Stock everywhere. John front court left. Trailer to Malone. He's there. Oh, baby.
You throw crazy passes and he catches them. People say, wow, he must know what he's thinking.
Stock down the middle. Lights out Malone. He's there. The mailman.
We're sort of Siamese twins, so to speak.
Stockton. Trailer Malone.
Oh, they've done that a time or two.
Those two guys, Stockton and Malone, they've connected. They've connected here. It's nothing better than that when you can step on the floor and you don't have to say a word to a guy.
Those two men really have ESP on the basketball floor.
I don't think any other two players on the same team have connected like these guys have.
And not only do they share an enduring bond, but also a common philosophy.
I look at us every night as warriors, and we're going out to fight a battle. There's no doubt in my mind what he's thinking. And I don't think it's any doubt in his mind what I'm thinking we'll get on that court, and that's to win.
No good. Rebound, Stockton. Ahead to Carvalho. He's got it. Stockton to Malone. He scores. Incredible.
Though a title has eluded them, what is perhaps more meaningful is that they've been able to take the journey together.
A lot of things have happened with the two of us, and it's nice to experience those things with a good friend that you put your whole life into with. We won and lost a lot of games together. We've been through a lot together, and really wouldn't change anything.
That's a dynamic duo again of Stockton and Malone.
And as a result, they've developed a relationship they will treasure for the rest of their lives.
When we're gone from this game of basketball, I think when you mention one, you're going to mention the other one. And if we happen to go to the Hall of Fame one day, they probably try to get us both there together. And I think it's great.
I hope that whatever happens to us after we're done playing, I hope that there's a lot of times for Stockton-Malone combination to get together again.